Hi, first graders. So today we're going to read one of my favorite books because I love teaching about light for science. We're going to read a story called Looking for Light, and it's actually called Science Adventures of Manny the Origami Moth. And when we say origami, it just means he's made out of paper because he's shaped like a moth. Now, just from looking at the cover of this book, it has a paper moth that's going to be talking to us. So do you think that's going to be a fiction, so a make-believe story, or a nonfiction story? That's right. This is a fiction story, but it's a special kind of fiction. It might be made up, but it gives us lots of good facts that are like a nonfiction or a book that's going to give us facts and information. So this is what we call realistic fiction. It's realistic fiction because it gives us things that are real, but it's using a character that is an inanimate or not a living object to help us tell it. So we're going to get ready to read Looking for Light. A young girl made the final fold on her origami moth. I will name you Manny, she said. Then she ran outside to join her friends. Manny looked around. Where are his friends? He tested his paper wings, and slowly he lifted into the air and flew out of the window. Manny blinked in the bright light. Where is all that light coming from? He wondered out loud. A bee that was flying nearby heard Manny. That bright ball in the sky is the sun. It's the biggest source of light and warmth in the world. Without it, the earth would be dark and cold. I like the dark. And they say that because moths are nocturnal animals, which means that they like to come out at night. Most moths do, but plants and animals need sunlight to survive. Plants use sunlight to make their own food. Without sunlight, plants would die. Then animals that eat plants would die too. Soon all the living things would disappear. Wow, life without the sun would be very scary. Don't worry, the sun will keep shining for billions of years, said the bee. Where are all the moths? I would like to make some moth friends. You don't meet too many moths in the daytime. They're active at night and don't like to be out in the day. It's daytime now, but it's darker here by these plants. Why is that? So why would he underneath the leaf be in a dark spot even though it's sunny outside? We kind of talked about this a little bit last week when you guys were playing with certain types of puppets. That's right, it's a shadow. That leaf is a opaque object, which means that it blocks out light, and so it forms the shadow underneath it. It says shadows. These plants block the light because they're opaque. That means light can't go through them. Light hits a leaf and stops. A shadow is created behind the leaf where the light can't go. Light can go through some things, like glass and water, for example, which are transparent. Look at the girl's leg in the pool. I can see her legs in the water, but they seem to bend. Yes, light goes through transparent things, but the light slows down and bends when it goes through the transparent object. The bending of the light is called refraction. So when it bends it, we say refracting. When light is refracted, it can change the way we see things, said the bee. I'll say, said Manny. Eyeglasses have lens. Transparent materials like glass or plastic can be used to make lens. And they are specially shaped to curve light inward or outward so that you can see things better. I can see a little bit of light coming through the kite. Is it transparent? It's translucent. That means it allows some of the light to come through, but not all of it. The two friends were quiet for a few minutes as they watched the sun setting behind the building. Where did the sun go? It's harder to see anything now. That's because it got darker. You can only see things when light bounces off of them. So you can only see anything if it has a light source. Now that the sun went down, there is less light bouncing off things. Watch this. More light bouncing an object makes it easier to see. So you can see this bee really well when he's right underneath the light. But he's over here where there's not as much light. Then less light bouncing off an object makes it harder to see. The bee yawned. I have to go to bed. Good night. He buzzed away. And Manny was alone. I wish I could find some moth friends. I would look in these trees and bushes, but it's really dark. The lamplight shines straight down and does not bend towards the trees. So that's because light travels in a straight line called a ray. It can't bend around corners very easily. So if you're shining a flashlight, that light's going to go in that direction. Manny saw floating lights near the pool. Hey, glowing bugs, are you moths? No, we're fireflies. We make our own light inside our bodies. I can see your light in the water, Manny said. That's cool. Light can change direction by bouncing off smooth surfaces, such as mirrors and still water. The bouncing of light is called reflection. So we see our reflection when we look in a mirror because our eyes are bouncing light off that mirror and bringing the information back to us. Do you want to see something else that's cool? Asked one of the fireflies. Come look at these flowers in the light. What beautiful colors. Did you know that all the colors are contained in light? When light hits an object, some colors are reflected and some are absorbed. The color of an object is the color we see. We can't see the colors that are absorbed. So this red flower reflects only red light, but the lamplight that's hitting it has all the colors? Right, said the firefly. The flower reflects red and absorbs the other colors. If all the other colors in the rainbow are absorbed, when light hits an object, we see the object as black. If all the colors are reflected, we see the objects as white. That's part of the reason in the summer they tell you to wear light colors like white because it reflects all those sun and light waves off of you, so it's going to keep you cooler. If you're wearing a dark black shirt, it's going to absorb all those rays of light and it's going to actually make you warmer. Manny said goodnight to the fireflies and started towards home. He had not found any moth friends and was disappointed. But then he spotted something. Hey up there, are you moths? Hi, paper moth, said one of the friends. Hi, real moths. I thought moths only like darkness. Why are you by that light? We love darkness, but some people have some really cool lights. This one reminds us of the moon. I see what you mean, said Manny. Besides using light to see better, people use light to take pictures and make electricity. With light, people make laser beams that you play DVDs, scan barcodes, print on paper, and even cut things. So those are all ways that we use light. Just then, Manny heard a noise from the window. I better get home, he said. I'll come back to see you tomorrow morning. Manny zipped through the window just when the girl and her friends were coming into the room to make some more paper moths. There you are, Manny. At 1 day old, Manny was a very wise moth. He couldn't even believe what he would learn as his life as a paper moth from now on. So, and as you can see, just like when we look in our other books, we have a glossary like a nonfiction book here. And it's giving some words that might have been tricky that were in our story that you might need to know the definition of. So like absorb, absorb means to soak up. Okay, a laser is a thin beam of light. And a lens, remember, a lens is a curved piece of glass like a lens in the eyeglass that's going to help you see. Opaque means to block out the light. So that's that thing that's going to cast a shadow. Like our bodies are opaque because light can't go through them. Okay, a ray is a single beam of light. And remember, light travels in a straight line. Okay, reflection means that light hits something and bounces off in a different direction. Refraction is where the light bends, like when you put your legs in water and they look like they're bending. And then translucent means it lets some of the light through, but not all of it. So if you look behind me, these curtains are translucent because it's letting some light through, but not all of it. But then transparent would be the glass because glass is letting all of the light in. All right, you guys did an awesome job listening to this book. So what you're going to do is you're going to connect the seesaw and you're going to get to do a really cool activity that goes along with the book. All right, thanks for listening. Bye, guys.